Podcasting from Portland East to Portland West, from Big Pine Key to Pacific Beach, and from San Juan to Guam, this is All Across America. All right, we are here today with bilingual ventriloquist Vikki Gasko Green, whose show can be seen at county and state fairs, corporate events, and schools all across the West. Vikki, it's an honor to have you on the show.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you. Or in Colombia, we go, "Kyo."
All right. Well, you've been an entertainer since age 5.
I remember telling my parents, it's funny because I remember actually walking up to them as they looked really tall. And I said, this is what I want to be. And I remember the collective shock, because I'm an Army brat. So it's crazy. But there's nothing else I wanted to be but an entertainer. Never changed my mind. Didn't want to be an astronaut. Didn't want to be a vet. I just wanted to entertain. And that's all I ever did. Yeah.
So what was entertainer is a pretty broad category. So what did you have in mind?
I mean, my first love, and it's changed, and I will say that, but my first love was acting.
Right.
I totally enjoyed it. I wanted to be in every play, and it didn't have to be the big parts, because I will tell you from my young age, I loved like Madeline Kahn and Cloris Leachman and all these great character actors, and even as I grew up, like the Joan Cusack and those people, those are the people that I tended to gravitate towards.
Okay.
Style and like them. I didn't want to be the ingenue. It's funny. It's not that I never thought that I was, oh, I'm not so cute. I'm all these things. It didn't matter whether I was or not.
Yeah.
That never changed the trajectory of what I wanted to be. I always wanted to be the character actor, maybe the secondary part and all that kind of stuff. But those are the people that I liked. So acting was my first love. And that's what I honed for years. But I grew up overseas, and I didn't have anybody to think, okay, when I finally came back at the age of 18 to the States, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to talk to, or, so I trusted a lot of bad people, made a lot of bad decisions, and and there you go. And ventriloquism kind of fell into my lap. And I realized that, wow, if you really want to explore different characters and not be judged by how you look, and you don't like, oh, sorry, you're not Hispanic enough because you're not, because I always said, well, you're so white. Are you really Hispanic? No, I'm really Hispanic. It doesn't matter in ventriloquism. You can be all those things because characters are really the driving force. You're just the kind of vehicle that makes them play, and you make them shine. And when they shine, you shine. That's the way I look at it,
So it's almost like you really are the secondary actor.
Yeah. No, I really am. And I was talking to somebody today because I was laughing about it, and I said, I'm the stooge. Like in my shows, I'm the one that they always take over. They're always trying to take over my show. They're always trying, and I'm always the one that is like, what is happening here? That's kind of how how it progressed to be. So yeah, I look at myself as, even from those old days, I'm still not the primary figure. I'm the secondary character.
There you go. So you refer to them as characters. You never use the D word, I suppose.
I do. But as a joke.
Right.
When I'm playing with them, and it's like, who are you calling dummy? But it doesn't bother me when somebody goes, oh, that's your dummy, like, because that's what they are called. Like I don't, it doesn't bother me. But in how I look at them as characters, like they're other actors. And so like every day as I shoot a different video, I never know what I'm going to do. I'm always like, it's all chaotic in my brain because I work in chaos. And I look at them and they're all laid out, and I go, who wants to work today? And then all of a sudden I'll hear a voice in my head going, me, and I'll be like, but like they'll put me on my hand. I never script anything out. It's always just like their character. I know that sounds so freaking crazy, but the character they've assigned to them has developed, and so as I speak to them, they speak to me in that character, and then sometimes I'm shocked by what even comes out of my mouth and what they're, and that's where the magic begins because it's it's never rehearsed. It's always just here we go. And even when I do my live shows, as I go into the county fairs and everything, I never scripted anything.
Wow.
Because when the audience comes up on the stage, you want to be fresh. You don't want to sit there going, wait, you're not working according to what my script says. I have to get to this point. You want to be that vessel where they can sometimes shine. Because sometimes you get adults and kids on that stage that do something fantastic. And I just want to step back and go, you go, do. Hey, you know? And I guess that's where I land on that.
So tell us about your characters. How many do you have? How many do you bring along? Does it depend on the show?
I bring along, and listen, my agent told me, stop it. You bring too many along. And I was, right. So I have my hotel characters, so I can do my stuff at the hotel. But in my show, I will say I use like, four characters, usually four or five characters. It depends because if you don't have a huge audience out there and you know you're not going to get a lot of people that are going to come up on the stage because people are shy. I've never been shy to get up on the stage. I've always been
Right.
looking, but people are. And so I have five characters just in case I can't get somebody to say, I'll do it. So then my volunteer is my dummy that comes up and does it of
Gotcha.
the person. Yeah. So,
Makes sense.
so when I'm on the road on stage is like fair characters, but at home I've got like 45.
Oh my goodness. Wow. And you were saying before we started the show, you turned off the air conditioning because they're latex. And I know it's a heat wave on the West Coast. So we'll make sure we don't go too long and everything melts. And
It's really cool. It's really cool in this room. I keep it cool. And even when if the air conditioner ever goes out, there's fans. And when I travel with them, I have fans. I like to tell everybody that has latex figures, you want those fans that you can charge, go, and that last for 9 hours because you're going to sweat on stage. Who cares about you?
right.
About them. Do you want to keep them from melting?
That could freak out some little kids.
That's so too. It's like I can be dying like, oh, it's so hot, but turn the air conditioning on. We don't have air conditioning here. I live in Vancouver, Washington.
Right.
It's tepid weather. But if we have to turn on the air conditioning that goes, it's for the dogs or the cat and the cat. It's not for us. We don't care about
So tell us about the characters, like the county fair style show. And I know you just did a 10-day run at
it was in Yakima and it was the Central Washington State Fair. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And so what were the characters you bring? Like, tell us about that show. I've seen you walk the Midway. You're on stage at times. How does that work out?
Well, so my stage show is so different than my strolling show because my strolling show is all about dragons. So I have my dragon wagon. So every character, we have an animatronic dragon that moves and he talks with me so he can speak too. And then I have the one in front that also speaks. So I have three different dragons that I use for that. And then I have the head dragon that's part of the head of the wagon. And he doesn't, he can move his mouth, but it's kind of hard. And with everything happening over here, he's not necessary, but he's still the helm. So he goes through and he's the big dragon. He's Max. He's the big dragon. And then I have, and then I have bubbles in the back and things. So it's this strolling set is a whole presentation, which is great. And I love it because it's so uniquely different because even when you're strolling, you're still on stage. Because I had a lot of when I'm strolling going, when does your show start? And I go, we're in the middle of the show. We're doing it. And which is cool because then they go, oh, oh, and which is neat. And then the stage act is so different because that is I like to do magic with the drag. So I'm not the magician. The characters do the magic, and the people, the volunteers do the magic. So I'm never the talented one on stage. It's always
not at all. Not at all.
I like that. I do. It's a crazy thing. I do like that. I like the fact that I bring people up to shine. This is your moment to shine. I'm already on stage, so I'm already doing what I love to do. And now I'm giving you that chance to do what you love to do. If you love to entertain, you like to be there. Because sometimes you get volunteers, they're so thirsty. And I get it because I was that kid too. I wanted to be on stage with that performer and I wanted to act. So now I'm giving you that opportunity as that kid to do your thing. And I'm going to help you do it. And they come up. So my characters help them too, and they joke with them. And I'm kind of, because the characters talk to the people that come up on stage, and I'm always kind of background, and I just facilitate what is going on stage. But I use very different characters, like Hank, my polar bear. He's basically me. Um, he's my character, but he's been with me for 27 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, and everybody else can rotate out, but some characters stay. They're the backbone of your show. And Hank is the backbone of my show. And then you have Lucky, I actually won him from Pavlov Puppets. Because most of the figures I do use are from Axtell Expressions. I love Axtell's. Okay. He's fantastic. His character's amazing, but there's a lot of other good figure makers out there too. And Pavlov Puppets had this thing where you could win this puppet, and I was like, yeah, I'll just put my name in. Why not?
Why not?
I want him, so his name is now Lucky. He took the place of another character, like the same routine, but the difference is that, and I actually did a whole theme on it on one of my, my TikTok and things where my baby dinosaur's like, you're letting Lucky go out. You're not using me. Why aren't you using me? I said, you're kind of big because he's got big thighs and he's got big. He goes, you're calling me fat. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Yes, you realize that as you keep traveling, you have to make it so everything has to be compact.
Right.
You have this fantastic figure, but you have to go, how am I going to travel with that? So that's why sometimes you have to rotate out the figures. And, but like I said, my stage show is mostly about, you usually get 30 minutes on stage at any given platform that you do. And I've always been the person that likes to see how I bring the other people in, how I can make them shine, and how I work with them. And sometimes it's not good. Sometimes they do things you don't want them to do. But then that's where improv comes in. That's where the acting comes in. That's where you have to kind of make it work.
Right.
You have to just go, all right, that's not the way I expected to do. And there's some kids that go, oh, I want to go up so I get a meeting, and they come on stage and they go, and you're like, oh, wow. Yeah, you do abracadabra. And they're like, or they go, be able to use your improv skills to work with that too, because you find a lot of little saboteurs out there that just, they wanted to be on stage, but now they want you to look bad. So you're like, no. But I'm not going to make you look bad either. And that's the thing. I'm not going to, I don't poke fun to be, to them. I'll poke fun at myself all day long, but I'm not poking fun at anybody else because I realize that they're not doing it to be malicious. They just don't know any better, and come on, you're online, you get die. I wish you need to stop, finish your.
Oh yeah. You can't pay attention to the peanut gallery.
I'm saying if you can't take it, don't take it. Like you're not in the, like you just can't. No.
Yeah. Yeah. You just got to let it roll off you and forget about it. But so you have Lucky, and Lucky you bring to a lot of shows, but you said you switch them out.
I switch him out. So Lucky is my iguana, and he thinks he's a dinosaur, and he's like he's an iguana dinosaur and all that kind of stuff. So there's Lucky, there's Hank, who's my polar bear, and a lot of Hank the polar bear, and Sammy the sea lion. I bring out too, and Margarita, who is my ostrich.
Ah.
Is well, she's my culture. That's the thing about Margarita. That's what I love about her. She's not just like a wow, she's a very cool character. She's really tall, she's amazing. She is the epitome of my culture because when she comes out, she sings a song my dad used to sing. He used to do the mariachi kind of sound and play the guitar, and he would sing El Rey, you know, and yo sé bien que estoy afuera, pero el día que yo me muera. And I would sit at his feet and just go, oh, my dad is like everything. Margarita comes out in the show, and that is the song she sings.
Wow.
And I have the Hispanic community in most of my shows go, rodar y rodar. They finish what she's saying, and then they row and they stop and they come to see what's happening afterwards because she has now engaged them and in everything. And it's a beautiful camaraderie, beautiful blend of Colombiana Americana thing into it because I'm very proud to be an American and I'm very proud to have Colombian heritage. My mom is Colombian. She's 97 years old. And I grew up 18 years of my life, almost 19 years of my life outside of the United States. I grew up in Latin America. So my whole culture is basically based in what I grew up in. So Margarita is that she's the one that brings my culture home.
Nice, nice. And is it easier to be a ventriloquist in the Spanish language versus the English language, or
Yeah, I think it's the same.
really?
I do. I can't, it's funny. I don't think about it. Like I don't, because I don't, when I do ventriloquism, it's weird. I think I go about it as maybe more of an actor. I go into it as here's a character that I'm using, and I know Diego, my toucan, is Hispanic, so I know he's going to be like, "Hey, DJ, okay." I never think, are my lips going to move more? Am I if because there are some figures that your lips do move more with. There are, and I probably could I can attest, and most ventriloquists, I hope, would agree with me. And they might not, but there are some there's some voices that you do and some things that you use where your lips move a little more. My deeper voices, I tend to not move my lips at all. My higher voices, I don't know what happens, but it's like sometimes there's that twitch that happens, and you're like, you know. But I don't like to censor my ship, whether censor that sounded bad. Censorship. My thing, my what I do, I don't like to censorship it as because if I had just a good conversation with a character and I go, oh, my lips twitched, I'll still post it. Because there was a great moment. It just happened. We had a great moment and it was unscripted and we did it. And I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just looking for dialogue.
Yeah.
And so, but in Spanish, I will say that I never thought about it. I guess now I'm thinking about it as you're saying it, but I never really thought that there might be. I've never thought of it. I do know this. It's easier to sing than it is to talk in ventriloquism.
Because the words kind of are flowing together in a way. There's less hard stops.
Hide it. You can't hide it. When you're talking and you're the dialogue, you can't hide it. In song, you can elongate words and you can make it like, and so when people go, oh my gosh, that song. And listen, I'm not taking away from any ventriloquist that sings because I do it too. But I will say that when I sing, I'm usually like, oh, it's my resting point because it isn't as you don't have to worry as much when you sing. Now, there have been like I don't have a voice like other ventriloquists do. I think I'm okay. I mean, I you know, I can do Melissa Etheridge really good, but I mean, I'm not a no. I'm not a this amazing tenor. Well, I'm a woman, but still, my
I
highest thing.
got you. Soprano. Yeah, I got you.
I can fake being a soprano and all that kind of stuff, but a brilliant singer, like when you go on stage and you hit it out of the ballpark and you go, wow, and people go, whoa. I'm more impressed when ventriloquists do that from their voices. I'm not impressed by their ventriloquism when they do it. I'm impressed by the fact that they have an incredible voice because I don't have that. But and the fact that they can use it with ventriloquism, I go, bravo to you, because I wish that
True.
I could use that amazing talent. Even though I was in musical theater, but once again, I'm a character actor. So
Right.
it come out like there's no business like show business, something like that. You have no problem with me right there, but you're not going to hear this. Oh my gosh, you just sang this brilliant like opera. You're not going to hear that from me. And that's just not where my talent lies.
Right.
So, but I don't, that also takes talent. So I'm not taking that away from anybody because yay, I wish I had that. I wish I could have impersonation skills. I don't. My ventriloquism, I was talking to somebody today, I feel is pretty basic. I think the
How
thing,
so?
um, I don't see myself as somebody. I'm not a comedian like Jeff Dunham. I'm not an impersonator like Terry Fader. I'm not a singer like Darcy Lynn. I'm not a sopranic. Like there are ventriloquists that have that. And that's a skill that I love. And I love what they do. And I think they're brilliant at what they do. And I look at myself and I go, I'm an actor who became a ventriloquist, and all I have is my relationship with my dummies. Use that word, dummies. I have a relationship where that's what I have. I have improv, I have acting. That's what I have. But is it a wham, bam, wow, wow? I don't know. I don't know, but I'm willing to explore it. And I'm willing to go, wow, and that's what I'm doing right now in my life. I'm exploring that. I'm exploring where can I go with what I do with my characters because I love them all. Like I really do. I love every character that I've created over the years. I guess Charles Schultz would probably say that about every character he created. Like you create these cartoon creatures, and even if someone else has Axtel's polar bear, they don't use them the same way that I do.
Right.
Um, it's unique to me, and I go, where is this going? I don't know, but it's exciting to see. It's exciting to explore because I'm an artist in the end, and I love that, and I'd like to see where it pans out.
I mean, and it always goes. I mean, if every show is impromptu, I mean, every show must be different, and it's kind of like you're stepping into an unknown territory and taking a drive and not knowing where you'll end up.
Well, and that's it, because if you have a skeleton script, but you can't not stick to it, you have to go like because I'm so audience, it's relationship with the audience. So I'm so much invested into how they're going to perform that it is interesting to see like, ooh, what's going to happen here. And it doesn't always have to end up in the same spot because it's no failure, because if they had a good time and you have a good time, that's what it's all
Well, I
about.
mean, that's it, right? That's entertainment.
That's it. I want to entertain them, and I hope that they are entertained. And listen, ventriloquism isn't everybody's thing. Like some people like, oh, you creep me out. And I'm like, okay.
There's a lot more creepy things in this world than ventriloquists.
So too, but but I have gotten that. I've gotten people that won't hire me because they think that ventriloquism is creepy. And when I do a showcase, say at a convention, like to get hired for something, and people see me and say I bring the masks out, they go, "Oh, that freaks me out," and it's like, okay, you know that when you enter into an artist anything, whether you're a painter or whether you're some people go, oh, pizza. Oh my God. The broad strokes, not good for no, I'm the kind of person that I will sit there going, I don't get your broad strokes, but cool. I don't know where you're going, but cool. And and that's how I am as a ventriloquist. Like I'm willing to accept every art form because I think every art form is beautiful. I don't care what it is. As long as you're not hurting anybody and you're just expressing yourself, I go, you go, like, boom. But I think the thing that I do that is unique to a lot of people is that I let the audience kind of dictate where my show goes.
That's great. So any strange places that it's gone where you've had to kind of bring it back, or do you just let it go out there?
Well, I mean, are you talking about like on stage if anything happens?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, I had I actually posted it because I thought it was funny. I was doing a magic trick with my figure because usually the magic trick is done by my figure, and I'm just like, I'm the, let my figure go. And they tell me, and that's the thing, I always have my figures tell me, pick the cards. I'm like, oh, like I don't know what's coming. Pick this up, give it to me, do this, do that. Anyway, so it's like, it came in, and Sammy, my sea lion, was saying, give this card. She has to, mix up the cards. And I'm like, okay. So I said, can you mix up the cards? And she threw them all up in the air. She goes, boom, now they're mixed up. Ah. And I thought that was hilarious. It wasn't like, oh my, wait, hold on, my show was this long and it's not going to. I went, oh my God, I'm so glad I record every show because now I have you. Now this is on. This is on. And the thing is, we made the show out of picking them up, like Sammy the Seal's picking them up, like but everything, and we ended up picking it up. It wasn't a big deal, and but the audience went, oh, like you could see everybody was uncomfortable, but I don't want anybody uncomfortable. Those things
That's
happen.
no fun. Yeah, that's no fun.
She didn't know any better. And then another time I was on the big stage and this girl all of a sudden, bring, bring, she played the violin she actually opened up the show. She was this violinist. She was amazing. She was fantastic. She's going places. And she wanted to be in my show. And I'm like, great. So I had her up there. And then she gets a call and she answers it in the middle of my show. And I'm like working with her and I'm like, I'll wait. So I just sat back waiting for her to, do her thing. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, oh, can we begin? Like, can we return
That's
to
so
the
odd.
funny? But everybody laughed because I didn't, my reaction was, that is freaking hilarious.
It is. If you're able to roll with it.
You never know. And that's the thing about live entertainment. You never know what's going to happen. It's so great when things go wrong, actually, because it puts you in that mode. Because when things are always going right, you kind of start to get into a rut.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when they go wrong, now you have to think.
On your toes, yes.
You're on your toes. And I love moments like that because how many times did I act on stage just as an actor and and somebody forgot their line, you had to remember for them, you had a lyric, right. And then you use them and all that kind of stuff. So all that comes into the play of all this, and it's just great. It really is.
I'm reminded of the jazz musician that a cell phone went off during a live performance and he started playing the saxophone along with the ringtone. So that's one way to
Isn't it? He could have went He could have stopped the whole show and said, wow. And it would have made the whole audience uncomfortable. And they would have like, but you didn't do that. You just decided to use that. And now it's a brilliant moment.
Yeah.
And it's something that you remember. Because entertainers sometimes after a while, when they're in a big stadium, they rehearse. Someone's going to go to the bathroom. This is my lines I'm going to do. First time it happens is when all that starts coming, when they go, how do I deal with this? I got to deal with it in the moment. And then they have that smart line that comes out and they go, ooh, I got to use that next time. Hoping somebody goes to the bathroom during their next gig. And that's the thing. But most brilliant moments happen when it's an ad lib moment that you weren't, an unexpected moment becomes the best moment in any of your shows.
Wow. Or it could be the worst moment, but that's what makes it the best, because you know where it's going to go.
And it could start out as the worst moment, but become the best moment because wow, now if that happened again, what would I do? And then you get more in tune to, so because trust me, I have failed some of my shows, like especially when you're working at fairs, if they book you and you have a 12 o'clock show and the fair opens at 12 o'clock, say,
right,
you're not going to get anybody. And that's usually when people come around to see, how is she? And you're sitting there going, yeah, I'm not going to get anybody at this act. I think those things happen. You're not always going to have a brilliant show. And trust me, I haven't. And I haven't always landed a joke or been, the best that I can be. I wouldn't tell you that to be true at all. But over the years, when you find so much joy in what you do, and I think that's what comes with, being in this for so long, is that I have found so much joy in what I do. And every time I have a day, I go, I get to do this. Because when I was younger, it was like, and now it's like, no, I get to do this. I'm amazingly blessed that I've been able to make a living at what I love to do. And trust me, it hasn't always been a great living. It hasn't. As an entertainer, it's feast and famine. And sometimes you go, I don't know. Like I'll be honest with you right now. I don't know when my next fair is. I have not next year not booked yet.
right.
So am I freaking out a bit? Yes, I am. And I take that, and it's stressful, but I take that because what would I do if I didn't do this? So it's the good and the bad and the ugly. It's the good and the bad. And I remember Joan Rivers talking about that, saying, looking at her calendar all the time, like, oh God, like, what do I have on the calendar? What do I have? That is the entertainer's life. Like, what do I have on the calendar?
Yeah.
Especially my entertainer's life. You don't have anything. I don't have a show. I don't have a thing. I don't have anything solid. So it is the entertainer's life, and it's a hard life. I'm glad my daughters decide not to go this way, but they were mathematically brilliant, and I was not. But I like it. I don't like that part of it, but I like putting a smile on people's faces. I like when people enjoy what I do. I like when somebody says, like on my social media, I look forward to everything you do because it's so positive. Thank you. Like, those are the things you go, you know what? I'm in the right profession.
Yeah.
This is like, and I really have no skills for anything else. So,
I mean, and once you've been doing an entertainer for as long as you have, I feel like, most jobs, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you hang up your cap at 9 o'clock and put on your jacket, or at 5 o'clock. Nobody's clapping for you. You just leave. But, an entertainer is, they get clapped onto the stage and clapped off of the stage. Hopefully, claps, and they did well and they get lots of deserved claps. But you don't get that in any other profession besides entertainment.
no, and it's not just the claps though; it's the smiles, and it's the feeling
Yeah.
that I made your day brighter by what I did today. And with all the animus that's going on right now, I just feel like I've hit my niche because I don't want to engage with any of that. I just want to make people smile. I want people to have 1 minute of their life every day, or if they go to the fair, 30 minutes, or, if I have any other show, like for this moment of your time, you won't be thinking of any of that. This is what you need to think about. This is just fun, stupid chaos. And I hope that you enjoy this. And that is for me invaluable. I'm so blessed to do it.
That's entertainment.
That's entertainment. Listen, when I grew up, and it wasn't easy. I grew up and as an army brat, and I moved around, and I moved around, and entertainment was what kept me grounded. And I grew up with like, my dad loved the musicals, and and he was a lieutenant colonel, but he loved. I mean, Fiddler on the Roof was his jam, and uh, we grew up with all that Sound of Music and Gene Kelly, boom, like that was my escapism. The entertainment was my escapism to, oh my God, we're moving again, we're moving again, we're moving again. And it brings you into a world of fantasy where either you could take it like, why did this happen to me? My parents, like I moved around, it was so horrible. And like, well, it was so like, it was horrible. Or you could take it as in, it was hard. And it was hard because some places I went to, when you're a quirky kid that has zits all over their face at 12, you're and the first school I went to, actually, it was middle school, and I came into the school and I thought I had a friend that was going to back me, and she didn't, because she was from school that I had from another thing, and I went, oh, she's going to, yay. And the first classroom I went to, and he goes, oh, she's a waste case. That's what you enter into. And you think to yourself, I can either get mad about that, or I can go laugh. It's not about me. Send in the clowns, put the smile on. Like, and it wasn't fake. And that's the thing that I want you to understand. Like, and I hope people do get. It was painful. But when you're able to transfer pain into joke and jovialism, like, so many other people that have, it's not fake. It's just another conduit. Like, I know how you probably feel, so I want you to feel better. I want you to feel better, and I want you to feel better. I want you to feel better because I don't want you to feel what I felt. I don't want you to feel isolated. There were many times I had no friends, zero, and I felt so alone. And I felt like nobody was listening to me, and I felt like my parents weren't listening to me. And, my last 2 years in Latin America, I wish I had enjoyed better, because the friends that I do have from those days, I cherish to this day, but I didn't honor them the way I should have done because I was so angry that my parents promised me that we would move back to the States. So that, because I knew I wanted to be an actor. I knew I wanted all this. And I was like, listen, I'm like 16 years old. I need to know where to go and who to talk to and what agents and all this kind of stuff. And then they're like, no, we're moving to Montevideo, Uruguay. And yeah, those last 2 years, I gave my parents a whole hell of a lot of crap. And I will be honest with you, I'm sad because I met really amazing people during that time that I didn't cherish the way I should have. And I get why my parents did it. And I never blame them for it, because to be honest with you, I think those life experiences make you who you are, and it makes you empathetic when you see that kid that looks at you like, oh, I want to be on stage, and they're shy, and you go, oh, I get you. And you, come on, I'm going to make you shine. I think those are the things in life that makes you empathetic towards other people, makes you realize that there's so many of us that have felt displaced or not wanted or bullied or like thrown away, but you're not. And you still are worth it, and you can make something of yourself. Don't you think you can? You can. And it's hard to get to that point because you have all this in your head. But if you can have somebody that can transform it into a good direction where you can go, oh, well, I can do this and this will make somebody, because it's like pay it forward. If I can do this, it makes you laugh and you laugh, then I go, oh, now I feel better about myself. And then you do this to this person, next thing you know, and then you've been doing it as long as I have. And now I don't remember the pain because I've made people laugh for 27 years now as a ventriloquist. And before, not as much as an actor, I didn't make people laugh, but as a ventriloquist, I have. And it makes you kind of forget the pain. And that's a good thing. So that's kind of where I want to take people. It's like the pain it's transitory. But if you can take that to somewhere else, I don't care if it's welding, I don't care if it's anything you do. If you can make somebody happy, if you do the best plumbing job that you ever did, but you unplugged that freaking toilet and you made somebody happy because there was something stuck in there and
Definitely.
then you did an amazing job and you should be applauded for that. And that should make you feel good. Like you made that person's day.
All right. Every plumber listening out there, we applaud you. Particularly when you turn the heat back on or there's no water or all that stuff. It's super important. So, Vikki, you had mentioned, a sense of loneliness. Do you think, and you also said that you have 40 characters that are in your home. Do you think it's maybe a reactionary measure to that you're surrounded by all these characters now?
Okay. So growing up, if it had eyes, it became mine. Like I wanted every stuffed animal I saw, and Dad, please, can I have it? And I grew up with a lot of stuffed animals. I grew up with everything, and I cherished all those stuffed animals. And I think that every dummy that I collect, it is part of my life. They are, because they are part of me. Like it'd be silly to say that Harry the Bat or Hank the polar bear isn't a part of like my character. They are. I'm kind of showing it's a different side of me. So yeah, I think that that 40 characters, yeah, because I see a potential in every single one of them, which is crazy because they're not real, but to me they are. So if I see one that I go, oh, gotta have it because I see your potential. It's funny. And I go, wow, like, my last dragon that I got, the sea monster, like thing, I was like, I saw her face and I was like, oh, gotta have her. Because I saw the potential in her character, like she could be part of me. Because that is a part of me. Puff the Magic Dragon is one of my favorite songs. Like all those things. It is all those characters that are on the bed that I take very good care of are all a part of who Vikki is, who I am. Because when I was a kid, I was surrounded by stuffed animals. Oh, heck yeah, I was. My whole bed was full of stuffed animals. Because that was it helped the loneliness having that. And I did have imaginary friends and I did have all those things because when you are isolated and you're alone, yeah, you do have to have a venue out. And I did have those things. And that movie, If, really, I just went. And you know what? And I felt guilty because I had an imaginary friend that I was so close to, which sounds so stupid, but I can't remember his name. And I know he was a knight, and I know he was, and probably because I watched Camelot when I was a kid, so he probably was like a Lancelot character. I cannot remember his name, and I went, oh, I feel so guilty. And I'm like going, why are you kidding? That's my mind. Like, and that's the thing. And in what I do, if I didn't feel like they were real, maybe they wouldn't. Maybe when I made the videos that I do, they wouldn't seem as real as they do. Because if I thought they were just a tool, then they'd be just a tool, but they're not. I I do I don't talk to them when I'm not working with them, but as soon as they're on my hand, they are real, and they are it becomes that cool engagement and process of just developing this friendship that we have. And that's why I say ventriloquism is just friendship. It's just a dialogue between friends. And that's how I see them, because they are my friends. And it, and I know they're not real, but they give me a lot of comfort, because they've been my livelihood. And then beyond that, as a kid, stuffed animals, they gave me comfort then too. So yeah.
So tell us about your work with children.
Well, I used to do schools like crazy. When I was in the Midwest, I did a lot of, that was my bread and butter, was really school shows. I had like I had the Reading Pirates, and I had a geography show, and I had a no bully show, because because I grew up with it. So I've always been, but I didn't call it an anti-bully show. It was just like respect show, because I think if you respect people, you don't bully them. Um, so I had like 5 different shows that I did back then. Oh, I had a bilingual show. Yeah, the Ola show. But when I moved out to the to Vancouver, it was weird, because I really thought because I was like, oh, this whole area of the world is so artsy fartsy, they're gonna love me. I haven't been able to do a school show to save my life. I think I've done maybe 3 school shows.
Wow, that's surprising.
No, and I do libraries, and it's great. I love doing libraries. Um, and it's basically my show, but you get more of the preschoolers in that time, which is fine. I don't care. I'll perform to any audience. I don't know. Um, uh, but yeah, it is crazy, because I don't know if they have their curriculum all set up and everything, but I came at a time when they were like, okay, we're not using all this stuff. And I just went, and then I saw somebody at a showcase that went, do you do fairs? And I went, it was Eric Haynes. And he goes, do you do fairs? And I went, is that a thing? And he's the one that said, hey, he got me started, like how to get into the fair business and how to do all the things fair. So I didn't even know it was a thing, because as you know, when I realized that acting wasn't going to be where I was going, because I had kids and now I was in the Midwest, and if you don't move to Hollywood, it's not going to happen. But even still, I was that person that everybody was like, oh, you remind me of so and so. I realized my Hollywood career was not going to go in, even though I did star against I was Eric Roberts' wife in a movie that never was released. Thank you very much. We won't go there. But that was my acting thing. Was that my acting career was all about movies that were started, never finished, started, never finished, started, never finished, never finished. So my career was done. So I had to do something else, because I'm an entertainer. So you have to morph. And I had kids, and ventriloquism, and when I started in the schools, was great, because I can entertain kids during the day and still be home when my kids got home at night.
Ah, right.
And like, wow, this is brilliant. What a concept. And so it was cool, because I was able to do that with them. And obviously they've grown up, and now I have grandkids stuff, and they all still live in Michigan, and here I am in the and I do fairs, but yeah, that's what it was. But I honestly thought I was going to be able to do schools out here too. And I miss that. I really do, because it was fun being educational, but not just educational. It was fun being being educational. It was fun being funny and silly. And because I did this show called Critterography, where it was animals from all over the world. And then I would talk about the population and where they were from, and all that kind of stuff. And then, and I used to have huge Halloween shows, but then the schools were like, yeah, a lot of people aren't cool with Halloween shows. So I was like,
oh no.
my business. So as an entertainer, just like anything else, you have to morph. You have to, if you want to keep working, you can't go, oh, but the good old days. No, you just have to go, what's next?
That's right.
this is what's going on now. Let's mm, laser focus on that. And that's and so I social media, the only one I was a little scared of was TikTok, but then I was like, nah, I'm not gonna be scared.
Nah, not for you. No, no.
Um,
Like,
so I decided to go full fledged, and this was a year and a half ago. I decided to go full fledged, but I wasn't doing it right though. I found out
what were you
because
doing wrong?
you're not do horizontal videos. You got to do them vertically because,
Yes.
and I'm like, oh gosh, seriously. So all the videos I did before, like they were like, yeah, you're doing it wrong. I'm like, stop. And then the hashtags, but no, hashtags don't work as much anymore. But then there's all these rules. No, you got to do with sounds, and you got to do with that, and you
Oh,
got
it's a thing. It's a thing.
to just do what I do. I don't want to think. I don't want to think so highly of it, but you kind of have to.
You have to. You can't anymore. You can't get away with it, and unless you're a highly successful entertainer, you got a team to handle that for you, which is the dream.
Yes, and when they do, then they'll follow you just because they know who you are. But until then, sorry, you got to play the game, and I'm okay with that because I've been playing the game since I was 5,
Right.
and I'm okay with it because
You're
I'm
doing
an
what you love to do.
I'm an entertainer, and this you got to do it. You're an entertainer. This is. I don't feel like it shows me. I felt like no. I'm sorry. Nix. Boop, repeat that. I didn't choose it. It shows me. That's a fact. Because who says it?
Awesome.
5, I want to be an
Oh,
entertainer.
maybe a firefighter, a construction worker at 5, but an entertainer. That's and I have young children, and they like entertaining, but they don't know that you could do it as a thing.
Right. And I never, but and to my parents' dismay, I never changed my mind. And they went, I know they weren't happy about that. I have my other 2 siblings that are just totally fine. I'm
There you go.
like, okay. And then there's me. And I'm like, hey, you had to have the spare somewhere. Come on, guys.
You can't win them all.
I always said that they had low expectations and I hit them all.
That's hilarious. Well,
Here's a true story because as we talk about like social media, oh God, my last year, my senior year, I was in the Uruguayan American School. I had a class of 6 people. There was a computer class, and it was the Apple computer that was huge. It's this big monstrosity, and then it came with this binder that was like this thick, and I'm sitting there going, "What?" And okay. And I looked at my teacher and I said, "Come on, just pass me because I'm never going to use this stuff." And they ended up passing me through.
wow.
Shame on them. But not no, honestly, I who knew it was going to explode to this point? I mean, I think back in those days they thought, "Oh yeah, Vicky's not," because if you're going to use the computer like this, you probably were going to be a novelist or you're going to be science or you're going to be that. Nobody
Right.
expected to know where it went, you know?
Right.
So they were like, okay, Vicky, God, we've had our hands full with you with math and everything. Just bye. And lo and behold, here I am, like I'm, studying every YouTube video. How do I do that? How do I transform that? How do I make that happen?
It's such a thing. It is a thing. Well,
Here I am, like, okay, ate my words, but I don't have a binder this big to do it. I got YouTube.
that's right. That's right. Well, how can people find out more about you?
Oh, well, I'm at ventriloquist Vicky everywhere. So that's where I'm at. And yeah, even ventriloquist Vicky is everything, even to get to my website, ventriloquist Vicky. So that is the best way to ever reach me is that.
Excellent.
Yes.
And
So
as we know, we don't know where we'll see you, but we know that you'll have a full lineup coming up soon. So and I saw all this the whole summer you were booked solid.
I spoke solid. Well, that's the thing is it's the summer, but let's make it so it's not just the summer. That's right.
Who's that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was going to have the time to shine, and I didn't. Oh, it's fine. And here it
Oh
is.
no! Well, please tell us where you've been, how your day has been.
Well, it's been good. I've been back here. I've been waiting, and I want to. Okay, he wants to shine.
Well,
Hello.
shine for us. Is there something you would like to show, to tell us,
Yes. Okay.
enlighten us?
Okay. Well, I think I'm very talented. Okay. I think I want to go on America's Got Talent. Stop it. I think I want to enjoy Halloween because it's spooky season. And can I sing a song for you?
Please, I would be honored.
I'm not that who is lonely. I have thought. Stop. Okay. Thank you. This is not the way we wanted to end this up.
It was perfect. It was perfect.
Stop. No, stop, 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 stop. Go. That's the way you wanted to end it. It's lonely. Stop it. Okay. Good now. Good. All good. Okay.
That's amazing. Perfect. Well, Vikki, it's been an absolute pleasure, and excited to meet your characters, and excited to see what you're up to next.
Thank you. And I appreciate you having me on this podcast. I really do. I really appreciate you.